She cried in court. Soft voice, shaking hands. Said she was terrified. Said she had no choice. Said she was the one being abused. For nearly 3 years, people argued over who was telling the truth. Then prosecutors pressed play, and the room went silent. I'm bringing you this case on criminal women, where I examine the complex psychology behind female perpetrators. If cases like this interest you, subscribe now, because I publish 2 new cases every week. When police first walked into that luxury Miami high-rise apartment in April 2022, they didn't know who the aggressor was. They saw blood, a lot of it, on the hallway floor, on the elevator walls, on her body, on him. She was crying, covered in red, saying, "My boyfriend is dying," saying she couldn't feel her arm, saying she threw a knife because she was scared. But he was 27-year-old Christian Obumseli, born in Nigeria, raised in Texas, smart, calm, working in cryptocurrency trading, the kind of man friends described as gentle and focused. She was Courtney Clenney, social media influencer, OnlyFans creator, millions of followers, luxury lifestyle, designer clothes, expensive rent, the kind of woman people assumed always landed on her feet. That day, she said it was self-defense. But this story didn't start with blood. It started with attention. Courtney built her brand online, fitness photos, modeling, paid content. She made millions in a short time. Reports later revealed she earned around $3 million on OnlyFans in just a couple of years. Money came fast. Fame came faster. Christian met her in 2020. At first, it looked like a glamorous relationship. Trips, high-rise apartments, the social media posts smiling together. But behind closed doors, neighbors were hearing something else. Screaming, banging, glass breaking. In Austin, Texas, where they lived before Miami, police were called more than once. In Las Vegas in August 2021, things escalated. Security was called to their hotel room. Body camera footage showed Christian with a cut near his eye. Officers asked what happened. Courtney admitted she threw a glass at him. She was arrested for domestic battery. The charge was later dismissed. Listen carefully to that detail. She admitted throwing the glass. Christian did not press charges. He told officers he loved her. He didn't want her in trouble. After that, they moved to Miami in early 2022. A 53-story luxury building called One Paraíso. Rent reportedly over $12,000 a month. Ocean views, private elevators, security everywhere. But the fighting didn't stop. Building management documented multiple disturbances. Police were called several times in just months. Security footage from February 21, 2022, later showed Courtney hitting Christian repeatedly in an elevator. He tried to shield himself. He didn't hit back. That video would matter later. Inside the apartment, the relationship was unraveling. Friends later said the relationship had become emotionally exhausting for Christian. Text messages recovered by investigators showed him apologizing repeatedly, even when arguments appeared to start from minor issues. He seemed desperate to calm situations down rather than escalate them. Some friends told detectives he looked drained in the months before his death, not broken, not defeated, and just constantly trying to keep peace in a relationship that had stopped feeling safe. According to court filings, Christian had started secretly recording arguments. In some audio clips later referenced in court documents, Courtney can be heard screaming, insulting him, using racial slurs, accusing him of cheating, demanding control. Then something shifted. On April 1st, 2022, just 2 days before the stabbing, Courtney called police asking about a restraining order against Christian. She said she was afraid. She said she felt like the victim, but Christian was still living there. April 3rd, 2022, Sunday. In the morning, things looked normal. Videos show them with their dogs, laughing, acting like any couple. Around 11 a.m., Christian left to get food. He came back with lunch. Later that afternoon, around 4:30 p.m., Neighbors heard screaming again. What exactly started the final fight is still argued in court. Courtney later told police it was about location sharing on their phones. She claimed Christian attacked her. She said he shoved her, choked her, threw her to the ground. She said she ran to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and threw it at him from across the room. That was her story. But autopsy results told a different one. Christian died from a single stab wound to the chest. The medical examiner determined the knife penetrated about 3 inches deep. It was a downward thrust, not a random throw, not a bounce, a direct, forceful stab. You can't create that kind of wound by tossing a knife across a room. And there was another detail. Phone records show that after the stabbing, Courtney called her mother before she called 911. Now, about 14 minutes passed between the estimated time of the stabbing and the emergency call. 14 minutes. When she finally called 911 at 4:57 p.m., she was frantic, crying, saying, "Baby, I'm so sorry," saying he was dying. Officers arrived quickly. Body cam footage captured the chaos. Blood in the hallway. Christian barely conscious. Officers initially handcuffed both of them because they didn't know who attacked who. They later removed his cuffs to provide medical help. He was rushed to Jackson Memorial Hospital. He did not survive. At first, Courtney was not arrested for murder. Prosecutors said they needed more evidence. She went to rehab in Hawaii. She continued posting online. For months, the case seemed stalled, but investigators were building something. They reviewed elevator footage. They reviewed prior police calls. They examined the autopsy findings. They analyzed the 14-minute delay. They collected audio recordings. They looked at text messages, and they focused on patterns. Pattern of aggression, pattern of control, pattern of escalation. In August 2022, months after the killing, Courtney Clenney was arrested in Hawaii and charged with second-degree murder. Authorities said the evidence contradicted her claim of self-defense. In court, her defense team argued Christian was abusive. They pointed to prior arguments. They said she feared for her life. They said she acted in the heat of the moment. For nearly 3 years, she remained in jail awaiting trial. Then came the hearing where prosecutors played the elevator footage again. On the screen, jurors saw her striking him. Again and again. He tried to restrain her arms. He didn't punch her. He didn't shove her violently. He tried to create space. That video didn't show a terrified woman. It showed escalation. And then prosecutors played parts of the audio recordings recovered from Christian's phone. In them, she screamed. She threatened. She mocked him. She tried to control where he went, who he spoke to. The courtroom shifted, because now the story wasn't just about one afternoon. It was about a pattern leading up to that afternoon. The prosecution argued that April 3rd wasn't sudden self-defense. It was the final explosion in a relationship where she had been the primary aggressor. They pointed to the downward stab wound. They pointed to the delay in calling 911. They pointed to her calling her mother first. They pointed to the prior domestic battery arrest in Las Vegas. And they pointed to the elevator video weeks before the killing. Her defense pushed back hard. They argued Christian had been violent, too. They said he grabbed her. They said she feared serious harm. They challenged forensic interpretations. They said trauma doesn't look clean and simple. But here's what made this case different from many domestic disputes. It wasn't just he said, she said. It was video. It was audio. It was timestamps. Digital evidence doesn't panic. It doesn't cry. It doesn't forget. And when the video played in court, the image of the helpless victim became harder to hold on to. Still, the legal process moves slowly. As of now, the case continues through the courts, with pretrial hearings and legal arguments shaping what a jury will eventually decide. She maintains she acted in self-defense. Prosecutors maintain it was murder. But step back for a moment, strip away fame, strip away followers, strip away headlines. What do you see? A young man dead at 27. A relationship full of volatility that people around them witnessed but didn't stop. Neighbors who heard screams. Security who filed reports. Police who made prior arrests. And a final argument that ended with a knife. Sometimes the most disturbing part isn't the crime itself. It's how normal it looked before. Two people laughing with their dogs in the morning, one of them dead by evening. In court, she still insists she was the victim. She still says she was scared. She still says she had no choice. But prosecutors believe the video already answered the biggest question. When the footage plays, it doesn't scream. It doesn't accuse. It just shows. And sometimes, what it shows is enough to change everything. That's where the case stands right now. No dramatic music, no final verdict yet. Just evidence, arguments, and a life that can't be brought back. Tell me what you think after hearing all of this. And if you want more real cases like this, stick around, like, share, and subscribe.